The Axiom directional side view mirrors that we have here will appeal to the 05 to 09 Mustang owners who might be looking to add a little bit more customization along with a bit more safety at the same time. Now the mirrors will be sold in sets of 2 and will include brand new ABS housings along with the bright amber turn signals and wiring, all for right around $150 for the pair. Site's gonna call this a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and a couple of hours to complete from start to finish. But I think the job's a little bit more involved than some people may expect. Either way, hang out with me for a bit, we'll cover the lights, then we'll break down that install later in the video. So these mirrors from Axiom continue to be a very popular mod amongst the early S197 crowd, and hey, the nearly 100 or so 5-star reviews tend to back that up. As always, if you haven't already done so, feel free to read up on those reviews and check out the customer submitted images on the site to get a better idea of how these things might look once they've been installed. But getting to the mirrors themselves, the idea here is pretty simple, right? Deliver a factory-styled mirror, but with the inclusion of a more modern turn signal on both sides to kick up the look a little bit, but more importantly, kick up that safety factor as well, which obviously is always important to point out. Making other people more aware of your intentions is never a bad thing and can hopefully reduce the chance of any accidents. But outside of the added turn signals, the mirror itself is very OE or factory-like in appearance. So if you're looking for something that just screams aftermarket like a bullet style mirror or something like that, you are in the wrong place here at the Axioms. However, if you prefer the underrated factory styled mirrors, these will certainly be right up your alley. Now they do ship in the standard kind of textured black, but if you did want to kick up the look a little bit while getting that lighting, you could always add the pre-painted skull caps to match your ride, or even go with a number of the carbon fiber or different aftermarket options we have on the site. And again, I go back to that customer submitted images page because a lot of guys have actually customized these to fit their S197, and again, it gives you a great idea what guys are actually doing. But on top of the housings, you are getting a fully loaded mirror here, meaning you're getting the new glass, of course, along with the turn signals, all assembled and all ready to go right out of the box. There's nothing to put together here. Now, of course, we've saved the best for last, and that will be the main attraction, if you will, and that is gonna be the functional amber LEDs built in to act as a turn signal or your hazards whenever they've been turned on. Now this is made possible thanks to the 5 individual LEDs per side that are extremely bright once installed and will again help increase that visibility when turning. Now again, these do tap in your factory turn signals using the included wiring and will operate as the turn signals or again those hazards whenever you fire them up. Which brings us to the installation. And again, the site kind of sandbags this one a little bit, guys, with that 1 out of 3 wrench rating, as there is some additional wiring needed. Now, the wiring itself isn't bad, but it's running that wire up through the door into the headlight area that can be a little bit time consuming judging by the customer reviews. But to give you a better idea of how things are gonna go down with your S197 at home, feel free to check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown right now.
Tools used for this install are an impact driver or ratchet, 11mm socket, 7mm socket, T30 Torx bit, small pocket screwdriver, needle nose pliers, plastic trim tool, and a panel removal tool. All right guys, so for this install, your interior door panel is going to have to come off, and since there's a little bit of wiring involved, there's a couple of other smaller interior panels that'll also have to come off. I'm gonna walk you through the whole process. Let's get started. So first I'm gonna pull off this interior piece right behind the mirror. I can use my hands for this one. If it's a little tight for you, you might need to use an interior trim tool, but then once you have it off, you can just go ahead and unplug it, and then we'll move on to the rest of the door panel. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull my door handle release back and pull this little cover panel that's going on in behind it. And I'm just gonna try and pry that out carefully. And that's gonna expose a T30 Torx bit screw that I'm gonna also have to remove. Now you just take your T30 Torx screw and pull that out, set the hardware aside. The next piece that has to come out is going to be your window control unit here on the side of the door panel. And we're just gonna get in here with our trim tool. Now I can unplug that from the back. With the window control panel pulled off, you can see a 7mm headed screw right here. So I'm going to take my 7mm socket and just pull that out. And next thing I'm going to do is take out all of the 7mm screws that are located all around the outside of the door panel. So once again, with my 7mm socket, I'll just pull those out. So back here behind the door handle pole, there's another panel that you'll have to remove. So I'm going to take my trim tool again and pop that out. That's going to reveal a T30 Torx bit screw that I also have to remove. So I've got all the hardware removed from the door panel. Now I need to remove the door panel from the car. I'm going to pull up to get it to clear. Disconnect everything from behind it. So now I can unplug my connectors at the back here. And I have to unhook my door panel. Now I'm just going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to depress the tabs on the door handle cable so I can get the tab to pull out, and then I can unhook the cable from the handle. Once you have that released, just pull that back, unhook the cable, and the whole door panel comes off. Next, I'm going to unbolt the 3 11mm nuts here at the top that hold the mirror to the vehicle, as well as unplugging the connector that supplies power to it. At this point, I can bolt my new mirror into place and use the factory hardware to keep it down. Make sure to fish your wire harness through. That's going to be for your turn signals and your corner light. And then once again, using the factory hardware, I'll just reinstall those. Then I can tighten them down with my 11mm. Now this connector is going to be reused, however there is another wire harness that I'm going to have to run power for, and I'm actually going to run that through the door into the interior and hook that into the wire harness that runs along the door sill. The next thing I'm going to need to do is actually going to be the most fun part of this entire install, is to run the wire from the door to the interior of the vehicle. I'm actually going to do it a little bit in reverse. I'm going to run the wire from the interior of the vehicle where I need to tap it in through into the door panel. So what I'll do first is remove my kick panel here on the door sill, as well as this panel down here at the bottom, and that should expose the wires I need to hook into. So the instructions for this product tell you that you need to pass your wire harness for your lights through the wire harness for the door through this loom here into the cab. Now in our case, that's going to be physically impossible because on the end of this loom, there is a connector that does not allow you to pass anything through it at all. So our workaround for this situation is we are going to connect our wire harness here at the mirror and then run it along the weather stripping at the door, into the weather stripping for the cab, and down along the door sill behind the dash. Then we can get to our wire harness along here at the door sill and make our connection for our lights. So I'm going to start by passing my wire harness down through this weather stripping here until it comes out on the other side. I'll make the connection just so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to want to pass it through this weather stripping here on the cab side. In order to keep it a little bit more secure, I'm going to use my clip tool to pop out the retaining clip. And then I can pass my harness through here. I want to get it up over this clip so it stays in place when I have it on the car. Make sure to keep a little bit of slack in between the door and the car. So now that I have it hooked here behind this grommet, I can just pass it down along this door channel and run it to the wire harness that's here at the sill. Now I just need to find the wires here in the harness that I need to make my connections and tap into them. So now that the wire is routed down here to the door sill, we're going to try and locate the wires that we need to tap into. You're going to want to find the white wire with the red tracer for your power and the black wire here in the harness for your ground. And then you're just going to use the supplied clips to tap into those wires. Now we can tuck all of our wires away and put our interior pieces back together. Now that we have all the connections made, the wire harness is routed, we can start reassembling our interior, and that's pretty much just going to go in the reverse order of removal. So I'll just start throwing the pieces back in. Now we're ready to reinstall our door panel, so I'm just going to plug everything back in, reattach my door latch mechanism, and then I can install it back into place with all the factory screws. So now that I have my door panel sitting in place, I can reinstall all the factory hardware using all the same tools I used to remove them. Just remember, for these screws around the outer edge of the door panel, I'm using a 7mm socket. Now I can reinstall my window control switch and all of my cover panels. And finally, we can reinstall our mirror control. So now that you've wrapped up everything on the driver's side of the vehicle, you're going to want to repeat the same exact process on the passenger side, and that's going to wrap up this review and install of the Raxium side view mirrors that fit your 2005 to 2009 Mustang. Thanks for watching, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.